Hey, what's going on? How is everyone? Let's get this voice right, huh? Oh, so just wanted wanted to go live and share some stuff. Wanted to share some things that I thought you would find valuable. Want to do a sound check. Going live with a very important, because they're all whores and men are just trying to pick which whore. What's up, man? Hey, loud and clear. Thanks for joining. Yeah, there are a bunch of them. They're actually being taught, no question. Unfortunately, a lot of them are being taught to do exactly that. And they think it's normal, which is crazy. The craziest part. Let's see. What's going on, everyone? Come in. Join me. Important topic. And I know we all have our thoughts about this, right? So, hey, thanks for joining. Definitely want to say thanks to everyone who joins me. I know sometimes on my Sundays, it gets, we get into a little bit of a rumble sometimes. What's going on, Reg? Thanks for joining. Hey, Legatus, thanks. Good to see you. Yeah, love you guys. You've been giving me great support. Thanks a lot. Always looking to create some really valuable content. So today I really took some thoughts that I've been having for a long time, and I was looking at how do I present this in a way that it's valuable. So, why is it difficult to choose the right spouse, right? Whether you call it spouse, girlfriend, significant other, live-in, side chick, whatever you want to call her. Finding that right person. I mean, I wrote something about this in the description, and if you really do want to build a great community or even a nation, at some point people have to find a compatible spouse, right? At some point. The problem is no one really knows how to do that. We do all this trial and error stuff. So, and some people have too many errors. So that affects how they make choices and how they do other things. So, so you end up with people who are in some way doing brain surgery on one another by doing trial and error, and then they get bad advice. So yeah, it's gotten crazy out there. So I want to offer a perspective that I think is healthy, and no matter how you do this. So share this with some guys who are they've been stuck, or they you call them the simps. They keep picking the wrong women. They keep getting themselves in trouble. Share this definitely with the guys who grew up with a single mother, or you grew up with a father and you didn't have a lot of respect. You thought your father was a simp. In the old days, that's how they kept her in check. Beat her. Make you a sandwich. Get me a beer. And if she does it, yeah, she's a keeper, right? She'll go get the sandwich. So share this one, guys. Like it. Like this video. Let's get the algorithms up so YouTube can find me and make notifications for others to see it. Men need to hear this one. So do women. Share it with some women. Some women may not like all this, but they need to hear it. Too many guys, we've been lying to women for years. So, and I've been hearing guys doing these videos, and he exposes the delusion. But I want to give another perspective that I don't hear people really talking about it. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, do it now. A lot of people have been unsubscribed by YouTube. I don't know how that works. Hit the bell to make sure you get notifications. If you haven't joined me on Patreon, check me out. The link is in the description below, and I always appreciate your support. My Cash App, PayPal links are in there. I actually dropped them in the chat. So always appreciate your support. Love the feedback. So I want to get into this. And the choice, no matter how you slice this, the choice of a spouse or a significant other, that's going to be the most important decision you make in your life. And no one even tells you that, and they don't even prepare you for it. And so that's a big reason why I want to take on this topic, because neither men or women are even prepared. Even when they do get into a relationship, it's like they don't even realize they just made the most important decision, and don't even treat the person like they are the most important person in their life. So for most people, they don't seek a relationship, even though they believe they are in one. They're just looking for a Hollywood love scene. And the belief that Hollywood is portraying love, it really clouds your vision. And what's worse is the belief that love is the foundation of a relationship. I mean, this has been just spewed through fairy tales and Hollywood and movies and books and teachers. Your mother, your father, the lies. Using love as a foundation is like having cake as a foundation in your diet. And I actually tried that when I was 19, had my first apartment. I was eating cake 3 times a day. That was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Man, I remember doing that for a while and being in a nightclub. I was dancing. My head got so light, like the room was spinning. So cake as a foundation isn't a good idea, man. And I was already bow-legged. My legs were bowed already. So by eating cake all the time, my legs, it was a disaster. Eating cake, so not good. And they executed what Marie Antoinette for saying, just eat cake, right? So in our society, so here's what I'm getting at with relationships. There's zero guidance for finding a significant other. And we hear a lot of buzzwords, right? High value, fit, feminine, beautiful, educated, blah, blah, blah. We hear all these buzzwords, and you know what? You hear the list goes on until you want to vomit. And none of the buzzwords, none of them can help you find a significant other. They're shallow, even though they sound good. So in the past, girls were trained to be good wives, and boys, well, you guys know we were taught our role since we were in diapers. And now girls are told, try your options, because that's what a good feminist does, right? They're told to be independent, never depend on a man for anything. And so they basically have no idea what a wife does, except what they see in Hollywood. So they are feminists with Hollywood and fairy tale fantasies. Feminists want to do everything men do. And when it doesn't work, they tell us masculinity is toxic. And you wonder why women are so confused about relationships, right? You call it brainwashing. All right, Sunday I talked about how people's minds get hacked and then someone drops a virus. So like all of this is like someone implants all this. Even in movies are like implants into your mind. And the funny thing is, since women are so confused about what to do, the funny part is they try to pretend like they do. They're mature, they're more mature, they're smarter than men, all this stuff we've been listening to since we were in the womb, man. We've been hearing this for a long time. And men, on the other hand, we're told that we want one thing. So imagine, men are told they want one thing, And women, they're told to withhold the one thing that men want. So you withhold it. And that way she can control and have leverage over you in the relationship. So basically, we start relationships off with insanity. I mean, can you see how insane that makes everyone? Yeah, a lot of them are definitely doing that. And the crazy thing is they have 3 kids, different fathers, Chris, and they think just a man should just accept that because she's worth it. I guess the feminists told them that one too. Not sure how that's a bad mathematical equation. If you just think about the liability for the guy and what it's going to cost to help with those women, help with those children. So basically people, yeah, the lesbians, right? So then they have no more, no man wants them, and that it just makes the pool bigger for the lesbians. But hell, even the lesbians are not working. They have a 45% divorce rate, so they can't work that out either. They're not working. Basically, the way we're taught is to play games. And the crazy thing is we're playing games with the most important decision we make. Like, so a lot of guys really do want to get married, right? They want to get married. They want to perpetuate their bloodline, their name. They want to build some kind of legacy and pass it on. So even though right now the marriage rate is lower than ever and guys are walking away, rightfully so, and some women are perplexed, which is mind-boggling that they don't understand why. It's like breaking off a relationship with a bad relationship with a woman, and she says, I don't know what happened. And that's kind of where women are now. What happened? I don't know. What did I do? What did I do wrong? So the choice of a significant other, especially if it goes to marriage, most important decision you can make, yet people are taught to play games with it. So how intelligent is that? And they're told they're intelligent. So here's the crazy thing. The other crazy part is, so while people are playing games, they secretly expect that person to save them. Even some guys now. So we're going to be honest about this. Most of us have trauma, right? Hell, your birth is a traumatic incident. It really is. So we have trauma from our childhood and it stays with us. Even if you don't know it, doesn't matter. It's still there, right? The trauma is there and it still shapes how you see yourself in the world. So in addition to playing games, we're told that life is rough and unfair. Life is rough. It's going to beat you up. Watch out, man. Life is hard. And we seek someone who's going to save us from the roughness and unfairness of life. Yeah, you know what? Exactly. I remember this woman I was dating for a while, Chris, and I remember people used to say, "Oh, you're so lucky to be with her." And I was like, why? Like, why isn't she lucky to be with me? I think she should know that. So I don't get this idea that men are lucky to have someone, as though a woman is doing us a favor. And now that men are walking away, we see that they're getting some dose, a slight dose of reality, but hard heads, still hard heads. So, well, here's the other crazy thing that I hear people say: a woman should be your peace. So basically, we're telling people to look for a pet, not a significant other. Like, no one is your peace. I mean, that's kind of irresponsible to look for someone to be your peace. And you know what? And I think people looking for someone to be their peace is maybe why so many people treat their pets better than their spouse or even their children. So from childhood, just think about it. We set people up with this insane mindset. And then Hollywood plays the Jedi mind tricks and it shows you images of love. And that's what people believe love is. The fact is, love has nothing to do with building a great relationship. The fact most don't know this is a major reason it's so difficult to choose the right person. People are just looking for the wrong things. They think if I build love, love saves the day. It does everything. So if we would have been properly prepared to find a significant other, we would have been told that finding a spouse, girlfriend, or whatever the hell you want to call her has nothing to do with the person we're looking for. It has nothing to do with them. So what does that mean? Like, it has nothing to do with the person you're seeking. No one tells us this. What do you guys think I mean? When I say finding a significant other has nothing to do with the other person, it has nothing to do with them, what do you think I'm saying? Finding a significant other has nothing to do with the person, the opposite sex, or yeah, this is heterosexual. What do you guys think I mean? Finding the right person has nothing to do with them, has nothing to do with the right person. It's trying to find a person who's right for you. It has nothing to do with them. What do you think I'm saying? I don't want to convolute it, but what do you guys think I'm saying with that? Finding the right person never has anything. It's never about the other person. Never, ever. Yeah. Someone that benefits you. Yeah. But I'm saying it's never about them. So even if they benefit you, it's really not even about them. It's not about them. It's never about that person. And I think that's where people go down. Yeah. I want to do a show about assets. I want to open that. I want to blast the doors because no one's really addressing that. Talking about all this stuff about being an alpha and being beautiful and feminine, but it's not about her, whether she's an asset or she benefits you. It's just not about her. It's just not. It's never about that person. So I like to use some analogies. You have to build yourself to be the person you want. And then, yeah, there you go, the goddess. Yep. That means it's always about you. So just to use an analogy, if you're a minivan, if a woman is a minivan, why the hell are you looking for a mate with who's a Ferrari or a Bugatti? Like, why? Can a minivan even keep up with a Ferrari? Even if you change the engine in a minivan, when it hits a certain speed, that sucker's gonna hydroplane. It's gonna just fall apart. It won't support that. It's a crash and burn strategy for the minivan. And there's a good chance the minivan is going to ask the Ferrari to slow down. So, you know, we hear it from women. You have to be, how do they say it? You have to be sensitive. You have to be sensitive to the minivan's needs and not even realizing the minivan's needs have nothing to do with the Ferraris. So in other words, I'm saying a woman who is a minivan, right? Mind, body, is looking for this long list of things of a guy who's a Ferrari. And she's never going to keep up. And besides, if you're a guy and you're a Ferrari or a Bugatti and you have kids with a woman who's a minivan, the most your kids are going to be is a Camry or a Nissan 300. And the Those things melt down on the Autobahn. They've tried them. Ferraris and Bugattis can cruise at 120 miles an hour for hours. Minivans and Camaries, Nissans, the engine completely, literally melts down. They've tried it. So I'm really talking about compatibility. And that means you first have to know you, like you were saying, Let′s. And the problem is most people believe they do. And I'm talking about both men and women. And if they did, they wouldn't be looking for the wrong person. And they would have a lot less problems attracting and managing the opposite sex in their life. So, it might be good to have a minivan in your garage, right? If you have children. So minivans and Ferraris might be good to have. They're just not compatible in terms of performance. So, and I think there's a problem because people say opposites attract. And when I hear people give that advice, that's really blind advice. It's just a rumor they heard and never understood it. So why they're giving the advice, I don't know. The choice of a significant other is the most important choice you make in your life. Why the hell are you getting someone who's the opposite? I just never understood that advice. So why do you think the choice of a spouse, significant other, is the most important choice you ever make in your life? Why? Why is that the most important choice? The most important decision you make in your life. If you get married or you get into a serious long-term relationship, that person, that's going to be the most important decision you make. Why do you guys think that? Most important decision. And I know a lot of guys have walked away with, if there was a magic wand and a woman just was like perfect the way you want her, looks, mindset, actions, commitment, responsibility, all of that. Yeah, that's a huge reason. Yep, your children, right? That's a huge reason. That's part of it. But yeah, your children ends up being right. You make children with a woman who's a whore and doesn't make much of herself, lives paycheck to paycheck because she's already making poor decisions. So you have children like that. Yeah, there are fathers who are still paying car notes and rent for their 30-year-old daughter who no one wants to marry. Teddy dying, bro. What does that mean? Dying? The most important decision, a woman dying? What does that mean? On what? Choking on what? I need to drink water. So look, I think people just overlook a lot of things, right? So if you're a Ferrari, you need to know everything about your engine, your suspension, your fuel system, your interior, your paint job, your tires, your brakes. You need to know everything about that car to know that if you meet another person who's not matched up with you, it's just not going to be a match. They're not going to keep up. When I lived in DC, there was this guy who used to have a kit car. It was a Lamborghini frame on top of a Volkswagen, one of the old Volkswagen Beetles. The girls loved it and they flocked around it. I assume they didn't know what the car was. They just saw the Lamborghini frame, the shell, but it had no performance. It was a damn Volkswagen Beetle. It was going to perform like a Beetle. And I'm saying this because a lot of guys keep hooking up with the wrong woman. You get her pregnant. You end up in child custody battles. You end up in she busts your windows out. All this madness. It's like you're a Ferrari or whatever. If you're a Camry, don't get with a clunker. Don't get with a piece of junk. Right? This is what I'm really getting at. Guys don't really invest enough time and resources to actually really know themselves. This is not about self-reflecting. What a lot of people do is, well, listen, we all like to have a woman around, right? So it's good to have a woman around. There's no crime in that. But if she is not compatible with you, if she has poor behavior, what the hell do you need her for? But if you understand who you are and who's compatible with you, you're a lot less likely to have allow someone in your life beyond a pump and dump. See what? Well, no, technically, no, Legatus. See, I think there's the problem because men think they cannot control the quality of women on the market. See, men keep rewarding women. It's like they're rewarding minivans as though they are Ferraris. And so now the minivans believe they are Ferraris. And I think part of the reason is that men don't know how to develop themselves into Ferraris or something even better, even a Cadillac. They just kind of wander out into the world and they see a woman that they like and it's like, that's enough. Or that looks good enough for me. But she doesn't match up. We hear all kinds of nonsense like false advice. Opposites attract. So men actually can dictate the quality in the marketplace. I mean, men are seeing that right now. And if you look at just MGTOW, red pill, black pill, cisbim, IBMOR, even the incels, with so many men walking away, it's forcing women to have to go do something. But this is something that needs to happen perpetually. This can't be some like manipulation move. Well, if we walk away and then women are going to act right. I mean, this pandemic is forcing a lot of women out of the workplace, so they'll acquiesce and smile in your face. But if men don't put demands on them, if a man doesn't understand who he wants to build himself into, he'll accept a minivan and she'll just put a label on her saying Ferrari, and it's a damn minivan. And this is the problem. That's why I'm making such a big deal out of this. I'm like walking through this. So men end up with the mindset is that we're helpless and there's nothing we can do about it. And we have the rights to say, fuck you. No, you're a minivan. You go over there and stay there, or you're just for pump and dump. Guys are not taking that kind of stand. And women have convinced men that they don't have a say in it. In the US, most women are not. And maybe with feminism spreading throughout the world, there may be a lot of women around the world who are not really worthy material. But men actually can make those kinds of demands, because what are women going to do? Walk away and build their own civilization? If they want to do that, hey, more power to you. But see, men have way more power than they realize. They're just not exercising it. I mean, the feminists have talked men out of their power. See, if you don't know what you're made of, you're never going to recognize it in the other person. That's why it's never about the other person. if you don't get crystal clear, it's like I was saying, if you're a Ferrari, you need to know about your fuel injection system and your engine and the parts in your engine. Can you run nitrous in this thing? What tires are you? What are those made of? When you understand that, then you will know who's compatible with you instead of someone just putting a label on themselves. or a woman who is a minivan, except she put Formula One tires on herself, right? Those tires cost about $1,700, and you get a minivan with Formula One racing tires on them. I mean, it looks good, right? That's like having a nice tit and ass, and maybe she had implants or something. Liposuction, had the fat sucked out of her waist, and it looks good, but it's still a damn minivan. Putting a Formula One tires on a minivan doesn't change the way it performs. So, and I'm saying women have gotten sloppy because men accepted it. Men stopped being so diligent about themselves, so women stopped also. So as men stopped being more disciplined, more insightful, more committed to their own development physically and mentally, women drop the bar too. And they're like, well, what are you going to say? And it's like men are losing sight to what's actually happening in front of them. Yeah, that's part of what I'm getting at. See, and part of what I'm saying is that women actually did follow men's lead. Some guys got sloppy. They just got into the pay to play instead of putting the bar here and saying, this is where, I'm not paying to play. I'm the one with the resources. Vagina, pussy, you can get that. I mean, there are billions of those on the planet. I'm not sure what you're talking about. They're going to take issue with it. If you want to be good at anything, athlete, accountant, you need to develop yourself. Get crystal clear about who you want to be and what you want to accomplish. And all this nonsense about the guy, I'm sorry, I'm still in analogy mode, that the guy who's the Ferrari should give the minivan a chance because women are like, well, I know this one woman who is a minivan and she almost kept up with the Ferrari and he should just give her a chance. No. Go find someone like herself. You see, if you look at it like this, right? If you're a minivan and you can't keep up with a Ferrari, accept that, and that's fine. But a minivan can take any kind of fuel. Ferraris can't, right? So that implies diet. Like some women just eat anything, and there are guys who take care of themselves. They're not a match, right? The speed at which a minivan can travel and a Ferrari are not the same. So that could be like analogous to the speed at which you think. So the way people think, that determines whether you're compatible or not. That's more than self-reflection. I think a lot of people just kind of got caught up in all I have to do is self-reflect. Yeah, that's exactly, Reg. They've been gassing them up. Right, exactly. The 72 Pinto, and you put the emblem of a Ferrari or some other car, Cadillac. It's like I was saying, that guy who had the kit car, it was a damn Volkswagen Beetle, probably a 72 Beetle with a frame of a Lamborghini. That was back in the 80s. So the way you think is going to determine, it really does have a lot to do. It affects your performance in life, in your career, in relationships, the kind of person that you can attract and maintain. So part of what I'm saying is, if you take the time to deal with most of the beliefs that have been imposed on you, and you unlearn them, you're a much freer thinker. Hey, what's up, Lando? Thanks for joining in. Hey, PJ. Thanks. I do get when you say all men are born free, but I get that, except we're taught a language, right? No one asked you what language you wanted to learn when you were born. No one asked you what religion you wanted to be, what socioeconomic class, what race. Like, all these things are just kind of implanted in us, and no one ever asked us what we really wanted. We just get it imposed on us. And even they read fairy tales to us. They take us to see Hollywood movies. And all these things make us believe that we know what a relationship is, or we believe that you even need love. People believe all you need is love. No one asked you if you wanted to know that. No, that's Reg. I say that's all over the country. That epidemic. I think you're saying that women think they're more than they are. Yeah, it wasn't always like that. I remember when women, if you were a 4, you were a 4, and you knew exactly where you were. guys, like, they didn't even lower the bar. They just took the bar away and just let anyone walk in. That's part of the problem. Wasn't always like that. I think part of that happened. I think a lot of women started withholding sex, and so guys would do anything, say anything to get sex. It was a manipulation move. Guys got themselves in a trap and no way to get out. So, you guys have heard me talk about finding a woman who can network. There's multiple benefits. She works for you. Yeah, all that. You've heard me say that. She needs to be committed to who you are now, what you want to do in the future. Like, all that is important. And a trophy wife, well, most of those are not always going to be good at networking, because they think just looking good is enough. And the crazy thing, Reg, I've heard women who were not even trophy material say that they wanted to be a trophy wife. I should have probably just laughed in their face, but I mean, they were solid 6, but they were not 8s and 9s to be a trophy wife. So and that was in the 80s, late 80s is when I first started. There was several women. They just wanted to be a trophy wife. And a 6 doesn't make you a trophy wife. Sorry. And for anyone that thinks that's bad judgment, hell, if you're a minivan, you're a minivan. If you're a Ferrari, you get treated as a Ferrari. As long as you perform like one. Yeah, they are rare, and that's why you don't have a lot of trophy wives. And I guess the other thing that hurt that, now women are going under the knife to try and make themselves 8s and 10s. So that's false advertising. There are a few, I've already said this before, there are guys in the US and in China who have divorced women for doing cosmetic surgery. And when the guy saw her childhood pictures, she was unattractive to him. So he wanted an immediate divorce. Okay. But a Ferrari is a trophy. A Cadillac and a Lincoln is not a trophy. They're not bad, but even though a wealthy man may drive one, but if he's looking to buy a Ferrari and he's got Ferrari money, he's not looking for a 6. unless she has something extraordinary to offer. And there are guys, I have met guys who are what you would call high value, healthy 7-figure, 8-figure incomes, CEOs of major companies, and their wives were not 8, 9s, or 10s. She may have been a 6, but you better believe she had some major contribution to his success. Behind the scenes networking, like I was saying. So those women do make it happen. But those women are often smart. They catch those guys when he's young, high school, college, and they stick with him because they see the trajectory of his success. And there are too many women who want to wait at the finish line. So if you're a 6 waiting at the finish line, you might as well just buy your gravesite because you're just out of it. So compatibility is key. And so a woman who's compatible with a man who is at the top of the food chain in every respect, you better believe she knows how to accommodate that man. And I think women have forgotten how to do that. So in addition, here's the other thing with that. Yes, being a good networker is important, but there's something else that a lot of these women do that people don't talk about. And it's like women are just oblivious to it. Yeah, exactly, Lando. She'll wait there for the rest of her life. Stupid man plus intelligent women. Well, maybe that used to happen. That's not happening as much as it used to. The intelligent man is marrying the intelligent woman, and they are becoming like a super class. They really are. It's been quietly happening for about 5 decades, maybe 6, and no one's talking about it. Yeah, yes, a woman can be a depreciating asset, and they don't know that. And unless they're doing what I'm going to say now. So aside from being a good networker, you want a woman who actually can be part of your mastermind group. And when I say mastermind, that means she's someone who can brainstorm with you. Right? I'm not talking about the woman who claims to be a cheerleader and she says she can inspire you. This guy, Napoleon Hill, you guys have heard of him. He said a mastermind group is 6 to 8 people who these people are committed to your success. They brainstorm with you. They open up their network to you. They may do other things to help you out depending on their expertise. They may have a legal background. They may have accounting, banking. There are other ways that they help you. But it's a mastermind group that they support you. You meet with them as a group. You meet with, it's almost like your own advisory board. So, yep. Well, he put it in Outwitting the Devil. It's in a lot of his other, but yes, for sure, Outwitting the Devil. If no one's read that book, it's worth reading. Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. It didn't come out until 2011, even though he died, I think, in like early 70s. No one wanted to put the book out because they thought it was too outrageous, but it's a really good book. But and he says in that book, if your significant other is not part of your mastermind group, then what are you doing? Like, you're just playing around. So if a woman does not have the capacity to support you in brainstorming, so I'm talking about why it's difficult to choose the right person. We get taught all this stuff out of Hollywood. Women make demands on men, and men sort of, they have acquiesced and just caved in, and they've one-upped one another. They're doing the pay for play. You get older guys who are going down to younger women and paying to play, which then that screws up the whole dating pool. And it's like I said, if guys let the bar drop, women just think it's okay. They just walk right in because there's no bar for them to get over. Guys, stop putting demands on women. Don't want to be told no to sex. Yet women like men with power. So instead of pursuing power, men are pursuing pussy. So a woman needs to be part of your mastermind group. And if she just sees you as a resource or having access to resource, that's probably a woman who's going to milk you dry. See, if a woman is brainstorming, I mean, like, seriously, not the cheerleader, not I'm going to inspire you and tell you, yes, you can. No, this is a woman who has a vested interest in your success, a vested interest in the things that you are thinking through, the challenges, whether it's you're at a roadblock or whether you're at square one, brainstorming to get to square 10, to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. If she has no commitment to do that, then honestly, these are signs that guys should either keep her as pump and dump or just cut your ties with her. You know, women who say, oh, you know, you got it. I don't want to get involved in that stuff. Leave those women alone. There's no commitment on their part. Yeah, I mean, if a woman is just there for convenience, domestic comfort, man, you don't marry her. You don't even take her seriously. You just don't. And I think a lot of women have the notion that a man who wants them sexually is the same thing as a man who wants them permanently. See, if you're a guy and there's something you want to accomplish in life, at some point you're going to mastermind. And if you have a good group of people around you, you're going to leverage them. She needs to be part of that. She also needs to know how to pull the best out of you. See, that's a difference. There's one woman who's your cheerleader and says, you can do it and I'm going to inspire you. And then there's another kind of woman who knows how to pull something out of you. So, and I've mentioned this before, Henry Ford, they say he was this kind of quiet. He worked in a machine shop. He wasn't the smartest guy there, but his wife knew how to pull something out of him. That's how the Henry Ford we know him to be. Is part of it is because his wife had a commitment to him and his success. She may have been hypergamous and used him as the vehicle of an affluent lifestyle, but she had to have some kind of long-term commitment to seeing him be successful. Yeah, exactly, Lando. They think a guy who likes you wants to keep you. I know they don't know the difference. That's why I'm saying it. Hey, yeah, PJ, yep, exactly. Delegate something to her. And that's exactly. See how she handles responsibility. Because if you're going to be in a serious relationship, that's responsibility by itself. But if she thinks she doesn't have to have any responsibility. And guys, don't say things like level up. Let women keep saying that. Do not let women lead you. Do not repeat things that women are saying. Let them keep saying that stuff. Because I don't really know what that means. Nor do I care. Well, see, here's the deal also. If she's going to be part of your mastermind and she pulls out something great in you, you also need to know how to pull the best out of her also. Right, because no one is the prize. Prizes don't make relationships work. Human beings do. And that is the number one message women need to understand. Stop coming to the table talking about you're the prize. Come to the table with some skill, relationship skills, and some skills on how to pull the best out of a guy. That means you got to be looking well beyond his resources. And that's the women who know how to do that are the women who catches the guy early on. It's like someone was saying, if you wait for me at the finish line, I don't care. Well, what I was saying in the beginning, Legatus, is that a lot of women don't understand what a relationship is. People think people are actually not even looking for relationships. They're looking for a Hollywood love scene. That's what they think a relationship is. And they're looking for, that's why you hear these women saying, well, the date has to be exciting. They're looking for what Hollywood has given them. They're looking for the excitement of a fairy tale. They think that makes them feel valuable. That's why players, see, they're looking for feel-good moments as opposed to working out. So, if I go to the gym, if I want this sucker to get bigger and I want to be stronger, if I want to be bigger, stronger, faster, I have to go do some work. I can't just go watch a movie and feel good about working out and I didn't do a damn thing. And so we live in a society where people have images and they actually believe love is what's going to make the relationship work. They actually believe love is the foundation of a relationship. It isn't. It's just a feeling. It's just a biochemical secretion that feels good. You cannot build a relationship on that. You can't. And so Hollywood has given the image that biochemical feeling is the relationship. But the things I'm talking about, networking, her building a network, connections for you, her brainstorming with you, her knowing how to pull the most out of you. These are things, see, that forces her to have a vested interest in you, who you are as a man, in your success. As opposed to her just standing at the finish line and saying, I want that one right there. And I'm a minivan and I have Formula One tires. Look at me. I look good. Some of them learn, but a lot of them don't. See, this is the biggest problem. People have to unlearn so much stuff that they don't even realize they need to unlearn it. So, and just on a flip side, if you're a guy and you perform well in life and you've made a lot of money, except you have a big gut, and you want the trophy wife, or you want this woman who's an 8, 9, or 10, or that woman who's really, she is high quality, like not just on paper. You have to be honest about that also. You might be paying to play. So do you want to pay to play, or do you want to develop yourself fully? And listen, you put in those 14, 18-hour days to make that success, no question. And that woman believes that her looks are enough, and that's what you want on your arm. But if you're going to play it that way, you better be ready for the fact that she may not be doing all the other things to support you to make sure you're successful. And you end up giving up half to her. So be smart about it. So ultimately, you need to make sure she's compatible with you. That's really what this is about. You don't want her walking away with half your stuff. So a woman, if you are that guy who didn't take care of your health, except, you know, you're a smart guy and and you have the financial means, right, to buy the Ferrari. You might look like a minivan, but you drive a Ferrari. Part of her contribution could be to your health and making sure that you have a longer lifespan, right? She's brainstorming with you. That's a commitment on her part. So, look, where I started with this is that people are taught to approach relationships in a way that causes dysfunction. If you guys were listening on Sunday, we were talking about how people have an identity, and that identity is filled with everything you know, right? So it has limits and predetermined beliefs about a lot of things. And some of those things are, all you need is love. Love is the foundation. People spend way too much time attempting to create love, and they actually never build anything substantial. So they lose power in life because they've been taught about the power of love instead of being taught about power as a man. Like, there's a power that we have in men, and we're not taught to get into that. We're supposed to have all these feelings, and that means the woman is whatever you want to call soulmate. She's compatible because you feel good. This is why it's difficult to choose the right person, because the criteria is based on how I feel. Yeah, you know what, Lando? Yeah, a lot of guys can be awkward with women because they've been chasing money. They've been good at chasing success. They've had lots of success. But you know that I've been asking women since men have built civilization, all these conveniences, all these things that make life safer for men and women. What we've built, we invented the tampon. We invent elevators so women don't have to walk up 30 flights of stairs. We've invented all kinds of things, hair dryers, washers and dryers, all kinds of things that make life more convenient for women. What do women do to make life easier for men? So if a guy, this is the thing that I don't understand. So when I ask women, what do they do to make life easier? If a guy actually has been successful, why would a woman want to make it difficult for him to get to know her? I think that's really foolish. And this is how a lot of women kill their chances. Right. They do nothing to me, even though men, and look, I don't care. The guy who, I've said this before, the guy who is the mason and lays bricks is just as important as the medical doctor. They are both contributing to building society. The guy who's the accountant and the guy who's the electrician are both building society. and And for some reason, there are too many women out there who believe the guy who has been in prison is more valuable than the doctor or the plumber, which that's a whole nother insanity. And as someone said, after she gets run through by all those guys, she waits at the finish line. But why aren't women intelligent enough to know that the guys who are actually productive in society in making something happen, why aren't they making life easier for those men? Why aren't they making it easier when a man says hello? Why aren't they making it easier in a relationship? Why do they want to play games and say, well, I have the right to change my mind? Like, why aren't women thinking about the consequences of not being cooperative with the very men who are building this huge civilization around the world to make life easier for you? Why wouldn't you want to make life easier for them? Why wouldn't you want to do that for every single man? I don't get it. Yeah, that's the not so look, PJ, I think a lot of women just completely are devoid of relationship skills. Devoid. They have no clue what to do. And see that I early in this video I said men are taught they only want one thing. Women are taught to withhold the one thing men want, and that way she has control and leverage over the man. Why? I mean, these men are risking their lives, they risk their money, they risk their family. Yeah, okay, Legatus, I understand that. The men they find sexually attractive. But here's the deal. What if men did that? We're only going to build civilization for the women we find sexually attractive. The rest of you women, get the hell out of here. You go live in a cave. I mean, should men do that? Maybe we've been being too nice. Because we sure as hell are building civilization and everyone is playing a role in it. If you build planes or if you're an air traffic controller, if you're an IT person, all of this is part of building a successful civilization. And men have been doing this. Women, when women say they've invented, like the woman who invented the circular saw, she didn't invent the saw. She just made it an improvement for a specific kind of saw. I heard some women say, well, women have the Essence Awards. Well, the Essence Awards is all possible because men drill oil so that they can turn that into fuel that fuels the lights that men invented in a building that men used, and they had to put gasoline in the cranes and the bulldozers. All this stuff has been created by men for thousands of years. And in return, what? I have to prove something to you? How does that work? See, and this is so if there are women who have value, and I go back to my car analogy, if you as a Ferrari understand who you are, you need to be looking for compatibility. Because if she's not compatible, what are you doing? If she's a pump and dump and you're 100% clear about it, I got that. Guys, one of the concerns is most of these like workshops or personal development, self-improvement, self-help books, most of the consumers of that are women. Honestly, guys, everything needs to be unlearned that we've learned. And self-reflection is not enough. Guys are going to have to start investing in themselves so that they can actually start to have distinctions, because using logic to understand a woman sometimes isn't going to be enough. You need to be able to distinguish certain things and see it clear as day. It's like you need to develop the expertise to be able to see a mine in the minefield and be able to distinguish it without stepping on it and be able to dismantle it. Because there are a lot of women who are a mine in the minefield, and you need those distinctions. Yeah, PJ, that's a good one. People are afraid. Yeah, that's why so many people come together. So many people get married out of fear. And it's been like that for a very long time. But since we've put this whole notion of romance, which is only about 170 years old, women want this romance, and they're afraid if they don't get it, and they're going to look bad to their friends. So the whole idea of having a relationship is kind of going out the window. So I'm saying compatibility is key. That's most important. And like Chris was saying early on, hell, this is an important decision, finding a woman who's compatible, because she's going to raise your kids. And do you want a woman who raises your kids to be whores and losers? Then the cycle gets passed on and it continues with your bloodline. End up in prison, dead, whores, bitter. So, so compatibility of intelligence. You guys are extraordinarily intelligent. So put that same demand on a woman you want in your life. You want compatibility in intelligence. Even if you've got her beat by a bit, that's okay, because she's going to strive to get up there. But if she's trying to pull you down under her so she can feel good, then, you know, that's not compatible at all. And besides, intelligence, you do want a woman who's intelligent because it's hereditary. Your sons, from what I've seen, boys inherit intelligence from the mother. And exactly, Charles, generational degeneration. That's exactly what we're getting. And I was saying before, there's a class, like they call them a super upper class, where intelligent men are marrying intelligent women, and they are creating a new class of people. And they have money, and they are creating this gap. There's a guy named Charles Murray. You guys have heard me talk about him. He has a book called Coming Apart, and they are breaking away from the rest of society, and they are kind of oblivious to what's happening in the rest of society. Well, hey, Gary, so I love what you said. Have a hard, long look at yourself and do some self-actualization that perhaps you'll arrive at a conclusion. But people have blind spots. People have been told things that don't even make sense, and they don't realize that it doesn't make sense. But that's all they know. Sometimes you need a guide, like a guide to take you on a journey so that you can see things that you didn't know were there, or they were hidden right in front of you. You just couldn't see them. This is why I say guys need to start investing in themselves. So compatibility of intelligence. You want a woman who can brainstorm with you. And if you get a woman who's really not compatible with you intellectually, it'll be hard for her to brainstorm. She's going to look down. You're going to look down on her. She is going to feel worthless. And that could lead to both of you making some poor decisions and you giving up half of what you have. So compatibility of intelligence, effective communicator, a woman who can communicate effectively, woman with integrity. Maybe that's number one, integrity, because you need her to be transparent, and she can't be a coward and afraid to be what we call vulnerable, be able to just talk to you openly. If a woman's highly educated, that's great, but how does that benefit you? Like all these women saying, I have a degree, I'm educated, I have 3 degrees. If it doesn't benefit you, then what the hell is the point? She doesn't know how to, and you've got to be able to leverage that also. So health and diet, sexual compatibility, that's important. Couples that have sex 4 times a week or more earn higher incomes than couples who have less, and they have more fulfilling relationships. So sex is important. And I think that's a big deal. People underestimate it. 38% of marriages, and marriages with people between 25 and 55, 38% of those are sexless. This is outrageous. One of the biggest problems, guys, who directed? I didn't direct anything at you. Not sure. So romance. Women claim they want romance, and romance means it's all on the guy. And if you don't step up and do romantic things, she's not going to be in a mood to be sexually activity. So this is about responsibility. If a woman is not compatible when it comes to responsibility, you don't want that. If her desire for sex is predicated on you and she's going to withhold it, then you're not sexually compatible. Because a woman who is willing to allow herself to enjoy sex with you and be sexually expressive, it's not about whether you did romantic things or not. And I've seen that. And it doesn't matter if guys strive for sex 7 days a week. He still needs a woman who's sexually compatible with him. I mean, you hear these I was hearing a story about a guy who met a woman. She didn't like him. At 40, she came back. He married her. And at some point, she just cut sex out, like over several years. So you need someone who's sexually compatible. If a woman's depending on feminism to shape who she is and friends and family, even though having friends and family can be good because you have a support system, that's why arranged marriages work. The family has some vested interest in you. But you don't want her family and friends making decisions in your relationship. And if you want to understand compatibility, a woman can look good on paper and she can say all the right things, but you need to pay attention to whether or not her family is compatible with you or her friends. And sometimes people have not so attractive family members and they break away from that. But, you know, you've got to be clear on what kind of work she did to get out of that. So a lot of women read self-help books and all they know how to do is lip sync what they read in the book. They don't know how to turn it into anything practical. So I want to do a show, not today. I'm going to do a show on how to be an asset. I want to have that conversation. So my major point about today is not about you, it's about her. I mean, it's not about her, it's really about you. And if you are not doing the things to make sure you are clear on who you are and what's compatible with you, you'll end up looking for a list that has nothing to do with you. And I think that's the biggest problem that women have, is they have this long list of what they want from a man and they have nothing on that list to offer. That is why it is never about the other person. It's always, always, always about you. And the list that you want, you need to be that list, or you need to go buy some cats. Man, you guys are doing a battle here. Hey, so I wanted to keep this one kind of short. I see you guys are going at it. Look, if you're not in my group, Straight Talk, join it. Connect with me on Facebook. I want to like this video, share it, comment. You guys can keep this rumble going after the fact. And I'll be back on Friday, and I'm going to be talking about how to make sure someone is an asset for you. So, hey, guys, thanks a lot. And thanks for your comments and being so active in this one. Have a good evening, and I'll talk to you guys. I'll see you on Friday. Take care. Bye.